Hi everyone, welcome. I'm doing my video outside today, so let's see how that goes. I have been wanting to talk about the nature of attraction, and especially because I think there is so much confusion about it. I spend so much time in my conversation with women trying to pay our attention to who we are beyond our bodies, beyond our appearance. And I know that there is so much pressure that we've inherited, that we have absorbed as ours, regarding our appearance and regarding our surface and the container, the shape of the container in which our essence resides. There is so much pressure to have it be a certain shape, to have it be associated with a certain number, to have it symbolize a certain something about us. There is so much that we resist actually about who we are, because we're so attached to what that means, the way we look, the way we appear to others, the way our body is shaped, the colors that we are, whether it's our skin or our eyes or our hair. So much of my own trajectory as a woman is based on, or has been about, my feelings about the body in which my soul inhabits. And so much of it has been my conversations with women about the struggle, the resistance to what is, the trying to maintain a certain weight, trying to maintain a certain shape, the denial of pleasure of eating, for example, the denial of pleasure of sexuality as well, because we're so concerned that our vessel, that our container will not look a certain way when we are seen without clothes. So what I wanted to talk about today is the fact that what attracts people to us is so much more than our surface. Our surface may influence a kind of momentary attraction, perhaps something that will, initiate a conversation. But I think if we talk about the relationships that we all seek, so much of what actually sustains a relationship is what is beyond the surface. So the energy that we diffuse, the state of mind in which we find ourselves, our attitudes toward life, toward our partner, toward other people in our lives, our ability to accept life as is and not resist what it actually is, right? Our ability to disengage with the expectations and all the limiting beliefs that we may have inherited from our parents or our culture, and actually being in the moment and accepting the person with whom we are in a relationship for who they are. Because we go through life without accepting who we are, with so much judgment, with so much inner criticism, we then project these same feelings to the people who are in our lives, because we reject other people because the qualities that we reject in them are the qualities that we're not able to accept in ourselves. So the more we come from that tortured stance of inability to accept who we are, the more we will be in a relationship with other people from that stance of criticism, judgment, expectations that are not realistic, and inability to accept. So because we are so concerned with our outward appearance, we maintain these masks. We maintain these masks thinking that this is what will attract people to us. And then when we do form relationships based on these masks, we then are using enormous amount of energy to maintain those masks, because the fear of releasing who we really are in our depth, in our essence, is still very prevalent. So so many of us spend our time looking for relationships that will feel satisfying. But until we're able to engage in those relationships from that standpoint of vulnerability and nakedness, ability to actually come through to the other person in our essence, until we get to that point where we accept that essence in ourselves and don't try to make it into anything else, we will not really be able to form relationships with other people from that point of our essence. So as long as we filter who we are, we will not be able to attract other people to us from our truth. We will only be attracting people to us from these masks that we have adapted in order to belong, or in order to seem acceptable, or in order to seem attractive according to some standard that was assigned to us. So our attractiveness comes from our essence. The more we filter it, the more we'll be struggling in our relationships, because we will always feel that we're not quite being seen, and we will blame the other for that feeling of not being seen, without realizing that it is us who are preventing ourselves from being seen in our essence, because we're so uncomfortable with that essence in ourselves. So until we're able to accept ourselves fully, accept ourselves in everything that we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Of course, there isn't any good or bad. We're all good. All of us is good. All of us is who we are, and there is nothing bad about it. Until we're able to come to that sense of balance and that sense of acceptance of ourselves in our fullness, we will not be able to form relationships that will satisfy us, because there will be this schism between who we really are and who we play we are, the roles in which we find our stuck, in which we find ourselves stuck, in which we find ourselves trapped so often. So our attractiveness comes so much from our own relationship with who we are, and acceptance of who we are beyond the surface, beyond the looks, beyond the aging, accepting that life is movement, that life is evolution and change, and then daring to interact with life and with other people from that position of fully accepting what is and not hiding, understanding that people who do not stay are simply not right people for us, and people who will see us in our fullness and will stay are the people for us. So much of our search to form relationships with others comes from that outward validation, but nothing of value can happen until we start validating ourselves, learn to validate ourselves, and learn to accept. So can you allow yourself to be who you are without resistance, in that full self-acceptance, and then allow other people to see you just the way you are, and then see what happens. But first, you accepting you learning to love you in all of your idiosyncrasies, in all of your imperfections. In fact, this is how we relate to other people. We can't relate to perfection. There is nothing there. We relate to other people's uniqueness, their specialness, and our own. It is our little unique bits and pieces that make us lovable. And if we can allow others to see those, that's when real important relationships can be formed. I hope this gave you some food for thought, and I'll see you next week.